Good morning, traders. What day is today? Today is Tuesday, January 31st, last day of the month, 2023. I am not prepared for this stream, but I am here just the same. Looks like we had some news at 8:30 Eastern. That drove the market up pretty hard there, didn't it? Really sort of set the tone there, didn't it? I guess we were working our way up anyway. Into that news, we consolidated, and then on the news, we just erupted. Nice 50%, maybe even beyond that on the fibs. And we went to town. This would have been a nice trade right here. This one actually okay, but it was kind of close to that news. But this guy right here, it was pretty neat. Broke nicely through the 9, touched all the way to the 21, never closed below the 9. Never completely engulfed a bar below the 9. And then you go a tick above this bar, and away we go. 38 to 48. That's a 10-point move. Pretty nice. And now we're kind of moved below the 20 EMA, so now we're going to have to see what happens when the market opens in 5 minutes. I am going to get a cup of coffee, and I will try to be back here before the market opens. Stand by. All right, I am back. Get rid of our little sign here. All right, first things first is let's look at our economic calendar. Market's going to open in about 2 minutes, and I'm looking on Tuesday, January 31st. It looks like we have some numbers coming up very soon. We have medium importance or medium impact news at 9:45 Eastern. That's the Chicago PMI. And then at 10 a.m., 9 a.m. Central, there's consumer confidence. That is a high impact piece of news. So we probably are not going to take a trade unless something really right out of the box. There might be something worth taking, but I want to be out of my trades at quarter till and at the top of the hour. Let's take a look at what's going on here. It looks like we are starting to get a little heavy here, aren't we? This trade, this was actually a halfway decent trade. We would have been, this one did kind of close high, but if you would have went short here, you would have been okay. Let me see if where our pivot points are. All right, so we got a pivot above us at 51.75 and another one at 17.75. Coming up on the VWAP here. And on the, is this the 200? I think it is. Let me pull it up. Oh, that's only the 51. Market's open. No, that's only the 51. So, okay, I don't know. I think I said this before. I don't know why it's pink. But that is the 51 EMA. I'm not sure why I have the 50 up there. All right, so kind of a slow start here. And I'm guessing it's because we do have two fairly important pieces of news coming up at quarter till and at the top of the hour. Let me redo these. My volume profile has to be, the date has to be changed on it to today's date. All right. So maybe we break to the upside here. Got sort of a trend developing like this. Let me put my double lines here. Something like that maybe. I am hesitant to get into a trade, but I hate to just kill the first half hour of the day too. See, it looked like it wanted to break this trend, but now it's closing back with inside of it. We're right at the overnight open here. This amber dashed line right here. Got some congestion right here to break through, and we are in this high volume node. So this is going to continue to be resistance until it can break through it. But this wick is, well, now they're reclaiming it. I'm going to have to just watch it for now and see if we break up or it's going to continue down. This is quite a V bottom on the 5 minute, isn't it? Yeah, see, we pulled right back into the this channel. Now we're breaking below the 21 EMA. This is VWAP, we have to watch that, but I don't think it knows what it wants to do. You see we're getting these huge wicks back and forth. Now it looks, a second ago it looked like it was heavy. Now it looks like it's starting to bounce up. It's looking pretty bullish, isn't it? This clearly was a bull trap here. People started piling in here once it broke this trend. They brought it up here and then reversed it, and all the longs got trapped in here just to turn it around and go back up. I don't know. Now we're only 10 minutes away from news too. Scary. Scary, boys and girls. It's going to get stuck here because of see all these dojis here, all kinds of consolidation. At some point we probably want to go 48. It's going to be a lot of resistance here at the top too, and then we go right into the pivot point. Yeah, I think I'm going to stay out of this because even if we did get in here, I think we're not going to have much room to run anyway. Look at the NASDAQ here. It's just right from the open, it's been going up. Definitely a different story on the ES. This is the 1 minute. Let's look at the 2000 tick. This is still a higher low here on the 2000 tick. But that's a big wick, boy. Yeah, we're just chopping at the moment. We're getting really close to that news at 9:45. Yeah, this is just untradeable at the moment for me, at least. Just on every time frame, it's looking choppy. This bounced nicely off of these, the 105 and the 50. 105, that's the 21 EMA from the 5 minute. Transposed onto the 1 minute. I think we talked about this yesterday, that's usually a very good trade, is to touch that 105 and take it for a couple points, and you see that's exactly what happened, but it didn't quite touch it. Generally, you like to see is it break through and then you catch it on the way above, so it would break through it, put your buy a couple ticks above it, and when if it returns, then you take it. But it barely even touched it. You see, that's our 200 on the 200 EMA on the 1 minute. This is definitely looking heavy. All right, well, let's just watch it for now and see what she does. Right now, it's looking like it's heavy, but we could just be in a holding pattern for the news. Yeah, every time zone, time chart here, that it's chopping. Even the 2000 tick. Yeah, see, it's bouncing off of the 105 EMA again, which is the same as the 21 EMA on the 5-minute. Just watch it for the moment. Looks like she wants to break down here. One way to play this would be to simply watch it break into this, what I am seeing as supply, possibly. See if it rejects it and then head up. Or you could wait for it, and this is probably the safer strategy would be to wait for it to break through this zone, come back and test it, and then go short. But again, this is meaningless while it's stuck in this holding pattern here, and I have to assume that a lot of this has to do with the news coming up in 4 minutes, and then of course even bigger news at the top of the hour at 10 Eastern. So I am in a no trade holding pattern right now until we get out of this area, but we still want to wait for the news. Yeah, you'll get just chopped to pieces here. Just now you think that she's going up, you jump on board, you buy the top of this candle. I guess what we'll probably need for is to see is if it breaks above this high of the day, and then we're still going to get stuck at this pivot point. So we're probably going to have to look for a safe trade would be to the upside is for it to break the pivot, come back, touch it, and then go long. Right now we're just stuck in this zone. So even going back to earlier in the morning, overnight, it was quite a long period of trapped in this zone here. She's starting to build momentum though here. Waiting for the news. in about a minute or so, a little over a minute. I think she wants to move up today. News in about a minute. That is the Chicago PMI, Purchasing Managers Index. I think that's what that is. And then at the top of the top of the hour is the big news, and that is consumer confidence. That's more likely a market mover, but nevertheless, the news coming up in quarter till then are still of medium impact. So still we have to pay attention to them and stay out of a trade, because I mean, hell, my typical stops are only about 3 points. So even if this is medium impact news, it could easily hit your stops anyway, just on a small move. So why be in a trade unless you're going to have a very big stop or no stop until after the news comes out? Not for me. See, look, at just as you thought things were going to break to the upside, they reverse it right at the top of the value area. You see this high volume area here. It's just basically bouncing around from the one end to the other of it. As we talked about before, a lot of these low volume areas will be resistance, and eventually it'll break one way or the other. And once it does, it moves pretty freely through those low value areas, but it takes a while to breach them. These are our pivot points, R1 pivot point, and then these are the one's to the top, one's to the bottom. Support, resistance. Well, that news didn't really do much, did it? Yeah, she's still, even with the news, it didn't seem to affect it one way or another. I'm definitely inclined to be looking for longs here for sure, but not in this area. Just chop. Nothing to do right now. I'm not an expert in this, in trading for sure, but one thing I have learned is to be patient. Don't be looking for, I mean, even if you're, not that experienced, I mean, you can see things like, say, this area here, like this nice run up, pull back, and then it continues on. You can almost like intuitively see that that's a decent trade for a few points. But in here, I mean, how the heck do you even have any kind of inclination as to which way it wants to go? Everything is just lined up on the same area. We got your EMAs are flattening out. You've got high volume in a very relatively tight area. We're in the middle of the value area here. This is the point of control is right. It's right at the point of control. I mean, everything is neutral. I could also see a scenario in which we just get a double top here and then head down. I'm not doing anything. I'm not even going to take a trade, I don't think, before 9 o'clock news. We're just sitting and waiting. We've got to remain patient here because the news is going to be coming out very soon. Looking to the left of the chart, this is way back. This is yesterday morning. Yeah, so we've got some areas of supply and demand as we work our way up. But we can definitely still use those, but those will be good places to consider taking our profit if we get into a trade. Yeah, it still likes that high of day. Rejected a bit. Just sitting and waiting for the news to come out at the top of the hour. We're just caught in some chop here, not really any kind of idea as to whether we're bullish or bearish at the moment. We're just sort of chopping around in this volume area here. No clear indication as to which way this market's going to go, plus really no setups to speak of. Hoping for maybe a breakout over this high of the day, perhaps into this pivot point, and then pull back to the pivot and then go long maybe. got news at the top of the hour. That is consumer sentiment. Isn't that what I said? Yep, consumer confidence. That's at 10 a.m. Eastern. I look on the DOM there. It looks like there's quite a few sellers at 50. That's going to be a little hard to get through. But if it breaks 50, then we could take off here. Maybe as high as 74. So we get into the 70s once we can break through the 50s. I need to take this chart off of here for a second. I'll be right back. This is painful. Just choppy. I hope it improves after the news comes out. Does seem like it's forming a bit of an uptrend. So once these numbers come out at the top of the hour, depending on what they show, maybe we'll continue this trend up. That's on the 2000 tick, showing similar on the 1 minute. During good volume, the 1 minute and the 2000 tick are not that different. Very different in low volume overnight. News in about 2 minutes. We're just chopping around, so I'm not going to, I'm just waiting and watching. You're just going to get chopped up in here just when you think that we're heading higher, she reverses, and just when you think that we're going lower, she goes up. So I'm just staying out of this. I hate when they stack up the news at, quarter till, and at the top of the hour, you blow the whole first half hour of the trading day staying out of this crap. on super high impact news, it is kind of fun to watch as long as you're not in it. I've seen guys, trade the new, like really high impact news by waiting for it to break one direction or the other, wait till it loses momentum, and then go the opposite direction. That usually results in a pretty good trade, but just a little too scary for me. "30 seconds. News coming up in 30 seconds. "10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There it is. And nothing. It sure didn't. That wasn't very eventful, was it? Expected to see this thing move. Let's see what the numbers were. Consumer confidence numbers, 107.1. Predicted was 109.1. That's lower confidence, I guess. Didn't seem to affect things very much, though. There's orders all over the DOM here. I can't tell what the bias is. This is VWAP right here. That's going to hold things up for now. All right, now we can start looking for trades if they present themselves, because news is behind us for the day. The other problem is that tomorrow is Fed Day, and that could mean a very choppy day today. That is, the FOMC will release its statement at 2 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. That's a super big thing, of course, every time that happens. And a lot of times it will result in really choppy trading in the days leading up to it. But you can see this is not any kind of reasonable price action in which to trade off of. These are just a bunch of wicks and choppiness. Al Brooks would call this barbed wire. You can see why. All these wicks and spikes sticking up. Touch it, you will get cut. 1 minute is sort of caught between the 21 EMA on the 5 minute and the 21 EMA on the 1 minute. But I believe if we're patient, it'll give us some clear indication of which way it wants to go. Let's even look at the 5 minute. What is that? Nothing. Completely impossible for me to trade. This may be another one of those no trade days. But we'll see. I added a Elgato Stream Deck to my setup yesterday. It's kind of fun. I don't know if I'm going to use it for what I set it up for. What I said, I actually set it up on to control NinjaTrader and set up like buttons for buy market, sell market, buy, ask, sell, ask, buy the bid, sell the bid, and then flatten everything. So it's a neat little. I just bought the little one. It's 15 buttons. It's like $120. I generally don't even use those buttons because I usually don't buy market or that, but I just was fooling around with it. I think ultimately I'm going to move it to the streaming computer for to control OBS, change scenes, junk like that, or I won't use it at all. I'm a sucker for little toys. But right now I've got to do those type of orders, plus I've got a couple buttons to launch NinjaTrader and to launch my Rhythmic, stuff like that. It's kind of fun. I bought the version 1 of it only because it's 120, and version 2, the only difference between 1 and 2 is they have a different stand for version 2, and it's an extra $30. So I just bought version 1. I think you can even get it for about $100 if you buy like one of the Amazon refurbished or refreshed or whatever they call it. Somebody returned it and knocked $20 off of it. I do that a lot. Buy the stuff from Amazon that people have returned and save a lot of money, and they only used it for like 5 minutes and sent it back. And if it turns out you don't like it or it wasn't in the condition you thought, you just send it right back. Anyway, let's keep watching this market. And we did have a pullback, but now she's looking like she wants to go back up. Let's go to our 3-minute. And we're basically just still stuck in here. I mean, you know, again, every time you think, now you thought this bar was taking us down, bounced off of the VWAP, and now we're heading back to the top of this area again. This whole value area is pretty tight, and it's getting tighter. This green line here, that's point of control, which is right at the top of the volume node. So, yeah, this is a point of equilibrium is what you would call this, where you have similar numbers of buyers and sellers here fighting it out for control. We'll see who wins. Nothing to do here. But I'm pretty sure that we will break out when we're in one way or another. Hopefully it will be before 11 o'clock when I end this stream. All right, we're getting some momentum here maybe. This MACD is still showing bearishness, but it could start to curl up. I don't have a lot of faith in the MACD, but just maybe another tool. I was thinking about playing around with they call the stochastics. It sort of is a momentum indicator. And I guess the way you use that is you're looking for divergence between the stochastic and the prices, and it will give you a sort of a early warning of a change in momentum. I keep going back to, like, you know, very simple charts with just simple indicators, and then I keep adding them on. I mean, there's my 1 minute. That is really the way you probably should trade and skip all that other crap. Because if you actually get rid of these lines, these dash lines, because they're just showing the bottoms of these pivots. So even if you remove that, all we had was a couple of EMAs, and that's it. The rest of them are just, to let you know this is the high of the day, low of the day, opening price. I mean, those aren't really indicators. That's just reminds you of those points. But, you can see I keep adding crap, and all of a sudden you got a circus going on here. Yeah, this is completely useless. I guess if you consider this other, it's not pretty, but I guess you can consider it oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry. I just got distracted by this big red bar here. Let's see if we're going to break down below the VWAP. Really very slightly negative on the day. In fact, I think this is the opening price, so we're just bouncing above or below the opening price. Down 2 points only on the day. What's NASDAQ doing here? Very similar. Look at our 15-minute. 15-minute candle is just a gigantic doji. One hour. One hour does look slightly bullish. It's a 4 hour. I like to see like a rhythm to the market, just a nice sort of sine wave type thing, with a bias to the to the bullish side or the bearish side. I mean, this is just sort of random, just complete randomness. There's absolutely no reason to take a trade here. I started doing this, at least the futures. I mean, I've traded my entire adult life, but traded futures in this manner for about 2 years now. And, when you just get started, you just want to keep trading. I mean, I would have probably taken 100 trades by now, just trying to buy the tops and sell the bottoms, and just get chopped to pieces. Oh, and she's going up. I'm getting in. Oh, it's reversing. Okay, reverse my trade. Or you take 100 trades and you either get chopped up or you make $1. It's not worth it. I mean, you can listen. Some of my most satisfying days, you just take one trade. You make a couple $100 across a few of your accounts and shut her down and go enjoy your day. Well, guys, I'm sorry for the boring stream, but boring is what we got. But you could play this as a range, I suppose, but it's not a very orderly range. Maybe on a 1 minute, is it more orderly? I guess it's not too bad. We have down to the bottom, back to the top, down to the bottom, back to the top, but it did not reach the top. It was pretty close. Back to the bottom, back to the top. But I've had bad experience with playing ranges. As soon as I decide, okay, now we've got a range here, and then I'll go short here, and it just continues on up. That, you know, by the time I realize it's a range, it's going to break out of the range. So if that's your style, go for it. But I just I don't trade that well. All right, let's see if this is the time we break out to the top or not. For what it's worth, the MACD looks like it may be curling up to crossover, but you see we already had a little crossover here and meant nothing. This all looks very confusing at the moment. I think that actually ticked to a new high of the day, I think. It did tick above the high of the day. A lot of sellers up at 50. Still trying to break through those sellers up at the 50 area. Coincides more or less with that pivot point. Let's see if we can finally get through these sellers up at 50 area right here. If you look on your DOM, you'll see that a lot of selling right up in this 50s here. I think once we get through these sellers at 50, maybe we see a move up. It's hard to tell though. This has been so choppy. It's hard to even tell what's going to happen. I don't even know if that's sort of a trend, I guess. I don't know. That's kind of garbage though. Still trying to get up through 50, then maybe we see a run up. A lot of sellers. Nope, that hasn't been getting through yet. So do you short it here and try to ride it down to the bottom of that range? Or do you expect it to break through that 50 and move on up? I'm looking at some buyers up at 52. Sellers growing at 52 as well, which is up here. Yeah, right at the pivot point, there's a fair number of sellers. For me to be convinced by a move up, I think I'd have to see it break the pivot point and then swing back to it, test it, and then head up. Just to assume that we're going to have a breakout once we get through 52, just to, buy the breakout seems irresponsible. Not very reliable. Well, I apologize. Of course, I have no control over it, but this is not my type of market to trade, that's for sure. I've blown up many an account trading into this kind of chop. Of course, I am no expert. You guys do whatever it is you think that you know how to do. This is about as bad as I've seen in a long time. I mean, this is coming up on an hour since the market opened and hasn't done anything. This bar here was actually a second entry long, wasn't it? Yeah. So this would have been good for a point, I think. 48.75, 49. Yeah. Yeah, this was a nice second entry long, I suppose. This does not look that bad on the 2000 tick. We got kind of choppy here, though. These bars here, of course, were stacked up, so this may or may not. But that was nice, though. It's like a second entry long right off of the 21 EMA. Went up for about 3 points. Could have certainly got your 10 ticks Yeah, these time-based charts are kind of choppy. The 2000 looked a little bit better, I suppose. Let's look at crude oil. Oops, where is it? See, now look at crude oil. That's a, you know, they don't have to really deal with the FOMC and news and things like that. So this is actually a pretty orderly looking pattern. This would be a typical trade right here. So 78.46. I may not actually trade tomorrow during the FOMC day, so we'll see. If you subscribe to the channel and you hit that bell icon, you'll be notified if I'm going to, when I go live. And if I decide not to trade tomorrow, I will put it in the community section. I'll put a post in the community section to let you know. I may just not even bother tomorrow, because it could end up easily being just like today with all this chop and just waste your time. Thursday and Friday should be good trading days. Certainly Thursday will, or even tomorrow afternoon, but I don't really stream in the afternoons. I'm almost more inclined to switch over to crude oil. Just something we could do tomorrow too, is skip the equity markets altogether and just play with crude oil. Although I have to admit, this would have been a trade I would have been inclined to take, although this bar here is very big. But you would have gone long here, you would have got chopped up and lost. This one went below the 21 EMA. This guy here, this was a good trade from here to here. 46, about 10, like $100. NASDAQ caught in a holding pattern too here. I'm almost tempted to end the stream just because it's so damn boring, but as soon as I do that, excitement will ensue. Look at that 5-minute chart. Some bearish momentum building up now. I mean, bullish, I'm sorry. got some new highs here, and we are above the pivot point. I would like to see it have moved up a little bit better and then pulled back to it for our long. Well, guys, I think I'm going to call this. This is useless. It's just wasting your time and mine. We'll see how things go. I'm going to think about whether I stream tomorrow morning or not, because I think we're going to see the same scenario. If we do trade, maybe we will switch over to crude or something like that, non-equity, and see if there's more action. But subscribe to the channel, please. Hit the like button if you haven't done so, and hit that bell icon if you want to be notified. I will post in the community section of my channel to let you know if I am going to stream in the morning or not. I suppose I could come back after the FOMC news and we could trade the last hour, the power hour, from 3 to 4 Eastern, but I'm not sure about that. But I am going to call it here and check, like I said, check the channel for tomorrow's news to see if what I'm gonna do tomorrow. All right. Thanks for tuning in and enduring this very boring morning with me. I will see you soon, whether tomorrow or Thursday. Like I said, just check the channel for more details. See you later. Have a great day. Bye.